thanks again, everyone. I hope you're excited as we are for the next chapter with Agent Harbor. I really do hope that some of you will kind of join us there. I understand if for some of you it's not the same adventure that Blocksense was, and that's is not what you're looking for. That's completely fine. But just a quick note before we wrap up on the naming of Agent Harbor. It's related to the community, right? Blocksense is the pirates, and where the pirates come in, it's the harbor. So it's kind of a play on our great community, while also kind of reflecting the fact that it's the place where all the AI agents will come and be sent out to do their work. So yeah, hope to see you guys there, and thanks for the time today. Bye.
Welcome, everybody. Today's call is going to be a fireside chat. So what that means is most of the time is going to focus on founders answering community questions directly. And of course, we have Magnus, Sahari, and Petter on here. Georgi can't make it, unfortunately. So he's in the air. He's flying to California right now. So we'll have to make do without him. What we're going to do is I'll talk you through, I'll pull up some of the most important questions first. And then what we'll do is we'll take a bunch of other questions from the chat as well. Stella has been helping us gather questions as well in prep for this meeting. So I think the biggest and most important thing is what's happening to Blocksense in 2026. And I know we've been quieter in November, so I'd love to address this. So before we actually jump into details of 2026, it's important to start with addressing things and kind of setting a foundation. So we've seen messages, DMs, comments. I've been chatting with a bunch of people that are in this community call directly as well. And so I encourage everybody to continue dropping questions in the chat so you can use the Discord chat directly as we go through the call. So the entire founding team has been spending the past week stepping back and reevaluating everything that we've been building over the past year and a half. I think this is a very important time of year, and a lot of teams take this time, especially with a slowdown in December, to reflect on where things are headed. So what the team has been doing is reviewing the ecosystem, testing assumptions, and looking at what's working and what isn't, and also mapping out what's the next chapter for Blocksense. Now, those of you that are paying attention may also remember Magnus unveiling Agent Harbor on October 1st at Token. So we know many of you have been wondering what's next. And this being said, I'd love to hand off to Magnus, who can give us the best answer. Magnus, what's in store for Blocksense in 2026?
Thanks, Martin. Yeah, like Martin said, we've been reflecting a lot, and 2026 is going to be a big change for the company. 2025 has already been full of pretty big changes for the team, but kind of on a strategic level, we've made, I think, some pretty tough decisions, but also some pretty exciting ones. And I'll start off with the kind of just reveal the kind of biggest thing, which is we're going to be putting the Oracle operations on hold indefinitely. So Blocksense is an extremely ambitious and technically innovative vision, build a universal verification layer, essentially a new kind of L1 for a services-oriented blockchain. And our kind of hypothesis around the best go-to-market for that has long been the Oracle space, because oracles in crypto are the one segment that, in terms of kind of infrastructure, has really good product market fit. Clearly, almost every application in crypto kind of requires an oracle to function. And we had a unique kind of angle attacking the oracle space. And so we've, over the last year and a half, been really making a foothold there, and that's probably what most people here on the call today kind of know us as an Oracle team. Perhaps that was actually a bit of a mistake because the vision of Blocksense was always much wider than Oracle's, but Oracle's was a go to market kind of wedge for what the Blocksense network could do. And I just want to kind of step back and first just say like thank you to everyone here and the people who are listening after this call happens, the whole community, um, for your support in this journey so far, because I think we've, in a short amount of time, we've grown to be like a very kind of committed, patient, inquisitive community of 80,000 odd people on different social channels. And I love seeing kind of all the original content and the questions and the posts on X. And yeah, I think we owe a lot of our kind of success and traction to date to this community. So just from all of us, thank you. And thank you for sticking with us through it. But yeah, like I say, specifically within Oracle's, we realized it was time to take a step back from that space. We managed to, we got, traction in the Oracle space. We have had partnerships with Base, Aztec, Citrea, Pharos, Monad, some of the hottest rising chains, deployed on more than 80 EVMs. And so, it's not to say that traction wasn't there, but what we've realized is that the kind of commercial viability in this space is not where it needs to be for us. And so, in terms of willingness to pay, in terms of margins, it's a very tight game with many players, and realistically, we have come to the conclusion that we just have better opportunities elsewhere. And as an early stage company, as a startup, we need to be very agile to attack those opportunities when we see them. And so many of you who've been here for longer probably have heard us talk about the AI space, and probably in the sense of verifiable inference, verifiable on-chain AI. And indeed, this has always been part of the roadmap for Blocksense. And we have started kind of development work around building kind of private verifiable AI services. And kind of, I think this sort of forays into that space have led us to what our really big strategy for the next year and for the foreseeable future is going to be. So we actually, initially when we were figuring this out, we sort of had a crypto first view of the kind of AI angle. But as we were building and as we were kind of like developing the product that's Agent Harbor, we've come to the realization that the very most important job is to build a product that just works really well for developers. So Agent Harbor is our kind of like new flagship product, and it's going to be, we're going to rebrand to Agent Harbor effectively. We're going all in on Agent Harbor, and it's a developer platform for vibe coding. So coding with AI agents. And we kind of reached a conclusion that the best way to approach this problem is really just to be very product oriented, product focused, and build for the customer, which is the developer. And it's not to say that that'll never involve crypto rails, or kind of the wider Blocksense network, because that's absolutely a possibility. Is to say that the priority for now and for the foreseeable future is going to be on delivering the best platform that we can for vibe coders. And like I say, more and more companies, even in Web 2, are kind of folding back into crypto and using crypto rails for settlement, launching tokens, so on and so forth. So again, I want to kind of emphasize that it's not inconceivable that this will be the route that we take, but we also don't want to mislead anyone or give kind of false hope, because it could very well be that we hit a vein on the Asian harbor, without any kind of crypto crypto angle to it, and we just continue in that direction and keep going in that direction. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we stand in terms of the pivot, you could call it. I think we'd love to kind of share more about Asian Harbor as well, which maybe we'll do later in the call. I think all of us are very excited about the product. I think it's kind of the most excited we've been since we started this whole project. And so I think we're really keen to share that with you. We also want to make sure that as our kind of like community and our loyal community, you get first access to the product, to kind of like testing it out. Anyone here who's a developer, you don't even have to be a hardcore dev. It could just be someone who vibe codes for fun. If it's of interest, we'd love to share it with you and get your feedback and kind of bring you into the process of developing this product. But yeah, I think that's kind of where I'll pause. I want to give the others a chance to address the question as well. But yeah, first back to you, Martin.
Thanks, Magnus. Thanks for sharing this. Zahari, so we don't have Georgi here, but Zahari and Petter, maybe we start with Zahari. Do you want to add some thoughts of yours here in answering this question? Basically, what the priorities are and the change that we're making as a team.
Well, I mean, my kind of way to look at things is that right now we started exploring agents before because we wanted to kind of improve our own productivity when developing Blocksense. And basically, along the way, we learned that agents are not just something that kind of give you a slight boost in productivity, but something that can actually transform the entire software industry and completely redefine how software development works. And this is the primary reason why kind of we decided that this pivot to Agent Harbor makes sense. Initially, it was a project that we hope to use internally, but it's very evident now that kind of all the teams around the world can benefit from it as well. Our original plan was to actually tie it to the Blocksense network in kind of both the short term, giving us a way to launch a Blocksense token sooner by allowing kind of operators in the Blocksense network to provide private inference services to developers worldwide. And this plan is still kind of technically feasible, makes a lot of sense for certain audiences that kind of care about privacy. There are companies that, for example, have policies against using coding agents because they worry about sharing their proprietary code bases with the large companies who are currently developing the modern large language models. So by providing private inference through kind of blockchain, through technology that have become famous in the blockchain space, such as trusted execution environments and so on and so forth, we could actually kind of leverage our expertise and bring a product to market that's kind of very relevant for these audiences. So this was a part of our plan for a while. But we did realize that kind of to maximize the value to basically all the developers around the world, we should really first focus on just making the product as useful as possible, basically making everybody as productive as possible. First focus on the productivity and then potentially explore these privacy angles down the road. So that's kind of reflected in the current agent hardware plan. I still hope that eventually we'll get to the kind of work on the privacy related features as well, because I want to kind of bring LLMs in my personal life to a greater extent. And for example, if you think about kind of sharing your email archive with LLMs or kind of your chat history, now it becomes really crazy to not care about privacy. I think privacy is important, and eventually, kind of the Blocksense network may find its role in kind of what we're building. But as I said, let's tackle the productivity problem first.
Thanks, Harry. Thanks for clarifying. I'll just drop in a few of my thoughts before directing this to Petter. It's very rare that a team's final product that they end up becoming famous with is the initial vision that they set out with when you work with startups. So I've been building early stage teams for the past 15 years. I think we've learned a lot over the past 18 months, and 18 months for me. I know teams been working even longer at this. And I can say with a hand on my chest that we've explored every possible opportunity, channel, and potential setup when it comes to using oracles as a Trojan horse into building a distributed compute network, essentially. So when I spoke to Zahari in the middle of the year and he started exploring using these tools to equip the team better so the Blocksense team could do a better job, I was very intrigued, because when someone like Zahari tells you this technology will be transformative to engineering, you want to listen, right? So I know that a pivot or a shift can look scary, but at the same time, having been building early stage teams for a very long time, following the situation of Zahari's, Magnus stepping up over the past couple of months and taking charge, that gives me the highest degree of confidence in positioning the team to optimize for an outcome, right? In positioning the team to succeed. Petter, I want to give you the floor to share your thoughts as well on this.
Thanks, guys. Well, it's been quite the journey. I think everyone here, both in the team internally, and also everyone joining here on the call and the greater community, I think all of us tried very hard to make Blocksense succeed in the Oracle business, and I'm very excited about all the effort that everyone put in. I know some super dedicated people that worked their asses off on that, and yeah, it's been amazing. I want to add some detail to what Zachary and Martin mentioned earlier about that we started exploring using LM tools to enhance our productivity, and like actually what kind of led to Agent Harbor. I think we're still quite early in the space, and as we transition from those chat-based applications to agentic applications, I feel like there's quite a bit of missing infrastructure in the ecosystem. And actually, a few months back, and part of the reason why we started building Agent Harbor is because all the tools that were available at the time, they were really insufficient for what we wanted to build with Blocksense. They had missing features like sufficient sandboxing, efficient file system abstraction, and so on. And actually, part of the reason why we started Agent Harbor is just to allow ourselves to have the tools necessary to build an ambitious project, as Magnus said in the call. And actually, we think that almost no matter what we want to build, having a foundation that enhances the productivity of everyone is very important. And actually, this is why I'm, as a developer at heart, I'm very excited about what we're building and what we're going to share soon with you all. So, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Peter. So, when is this change happening? We said that we will make a shift from the oracles. Can you answer this question and talk a bit about the networks and the feeds we're supporting?
Sure. So we've already reached out to our partners and let them know about our pivots. What I want to say that we're committed to supporting our partners so that they can find sufficient transition options. So most importantly will be we'll keep maintaining the mainnet networks that our customers rely on. I think it's important that we keep the relationships that we have built and support the teams. So we're in talks with partners, and we're going to make sure that each of our partners is able to transition, and then we'll have more specific announcements at a later date.
Thanks, Peter. The other big question that comes up here, and I want to direct this to Magnus, is what's happening to the community. Magnus, do you want to take this?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, in terms of the community, Discord is staying open. People want to kind of continue chatting and having friendly conversations there, more than welcome to. We're keeping that alive. But we'll reduce our involvement there. We'll be moving over to some new channels, which I think we'll share in Discord right after this call for you. Would love to see you guys there. So initially it will be X. We will have a Discord for the early access testers specifically. That one won't be open to everyone to begin with, because we need to keep it small enough that we can kind of attend to people's needs as a kind of support channel for the kind of beta testers. And over time that will open up. But everyone here is kind of welcome to join and apply for that early tester program as well, if you are a user of vibe coding applications yourself. Yeah, I think we will continue to keep everyone kind of posted on our progress in this channel specifically. But as I said, things will move over to the new channels pretty quickly. Yeah, does that answer the question? Do you have any follow-up?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of follow-up questions around this, so we can take these more specific ones after.
Yeah.
Please, everybody, drop questions in the chat again. So this is the last such fireside chat that we're hosting. So I want to make sure that if there's any questions, we can address them. And Stella's helping me out, so we make sure we gather these and we address them in order. Magnus, given the shift, are there changes to the team as well? What's happening to the team that's been working on Blocksense for the past 2 years?
Yeah, so as I vaguely alluded to earlier, there have been some really tough decisions to make around the team. We have come down to a smaller core team working on Agent Harbor full time, that is fully dedicated to bringing the product to launch as soon as possible in the market. And as part of that, we unfortunately had to let go of some real superstars and just like great colleagues and friends that we've been working with for a long time. But simply, was not possible to bring everyone along for the Asian Harbor pivot. So for all of those people, we're trying to kind of help them move on to the next thing in their career and kind of land on their feet with good opportunities. But yeah, as we stand, we're leaner than ever as a team. We've really cut down to a fairly small team now of less than 10 people. That's fully dedicated to Asian Harbor.
Thanks, Magnus. So I think this is a good place for me to say what I'm heading to do on my end as well. So on my end, Blocksense is the team and the mission and the vision that got me excited and into the space. And I've been going pretty deep for the past year and a half. I can confidently say that this is probably the context in which I've worked the longest and the hardest at since I've ever worked in the past 15 years. And people will tell you that I get obsessed with stuff, right? A big part of it was really the people, Magnus, Petter, Zahari, but also folks that you're not seeing on this chat, like the way that Nettie and Chris are grinding. Shout out to the tech team. Eric, who's also here, he reached out to me almost a year ago and he just started doing some volunteering work. And I'm super busy, but I decided to try and mentor and support Eric. And I'm super happy that Eric's first trip abroad was a flight to join us for Token, because he started doing a lot of BD related work to support me. At the end of the day, it's people that brought me to the space and this exciting, fast moving technology. And so I want to focus on the space moving forward. But this team and this mission inspired me to come in this space, and I intend to stay here. So I will be making updates to my Twitter, TG profiles, etc. And I'm not going to be involved in the development of Agent Harbor, but I'm still here and rooting for the team. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on the timeline, everybody in the audience right now. The other thing I would like to say is also, as you guys have seen, even before Rahil's departure, shout out to Rahil, by the way. Rahil's been exceptional. I think supporting and building community for an infrastructure business in crypto, especially with the shifts in the market from the beginning of this year, it's really challenging, you guys. So Rahil has been very inspiring for me. And I just want to say good job, dude. I don't even know if he's on here now. I also want to give a shout out to Christo. So Rahil and Christo, I kind of see them as two sides to the same coin. So Christo, I would have pulled you up on stage, but he's in India right now in a very, very loud and crowded place. So good job. I see people pouring their heart and soul into their work. And Christo has always been an advocate for the community. So thank you and good work, guys. Let me come back to this. Eric, by the way, Eric has been helping the Blocksense team on the Oracle side as well over the past couple of months in a more involved capacity. Good work. I've heard from people on the team. So I know Eric is also not going to work on Agent Harbor necessarily, but I just want to give you a shout out. So, Magnus, I kind of missed this earlier, but in my notes, I wanted to actually give you a floor to tell people a bit more about how they can get access and information about Agent Harbor. I saw a bunch of people ask about this in the community as well. Do you want to give people some guidance before I move on to the next part?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like maybe we've been a little bit vague about what Agent Harbor is, so I want to kind of explain that right now. So in the field of vibe coding, a lot of solutions to the problem have started coming up in the last year. It really is 2025 that vibe coding became a possibility even for kind of real engineering work. with Claude Code kind of starting off the vibe coding craze. Every single week and month, we've seen big improvements to the model's capabilities. But what's funny is that the kind of economic impact on productivity uplift of all that seems to have been fairly thin, if any, until now. And studies have come out recently showing that a lot of developers actually lose productivity when they're using vibe coding tools like Claude Code. On average, about 20% reduction in productivity, even though developers think that they're getting much more productive. So their self-assessment is much higher productivity. The observed productivity is lower. And this is kind of interesting because there's definitely a distribution of how people are benefiting from these tools. And we see, even in our own team, but definitely all the people that we talk to, that some developers are able to get extremely high productivity gains that legitimately are very impressive and like hard to explain without AI. And others are getting some small uplifts, and others still kind of not at all enjoying or getting benefit from the tools.
Sorry, guys, is Magnus's audio good for you, or did it just degrade for you as well, the same way it did for me?
Or you not hear me anymore?
Okay, this is better. Can you?
Just-
I literally like the last couple of sentences. It felt like maybe the audio input changed or something. I just wasn't sure if it was my headphones. Can you give it the
Okay.
last
Is this
few sentences? Yes.
Yeah. I was just saying, so I think Zahar is actually a developer who is in that upper part of the distribution with vibe coding where his productivity is skyrocketed. And if you look at the Agent Harbor repository, there's evidence of that. And essentially, Agent Harbor is an attempt to formalize and automate and essentially present as a packaged product the workflow that Zahara uses in vibe coding, and effectively, what that means is biasing towards YOLO mode. So YOLO mode is where we let agents run autonomously and make changes to the computer, to the file system on their own. Providing working with extreme kind of spec and test driven development, so that agents have essentially context management, where agents have like the full context of the tasks they need to do. And then essentially when you work with this mode of development, a few bottlenecks come up that the existing tools are pretty bad at helping developers with. And that's where productivity starts to degrade. And that's why quite a lot of developers don't actually adopt this way of working. One is that YOLO mode is inherently risky to the user system because agents now have root access to your hard drive. And one response to this has been to run agents in the cloud in a sandbox. But now you have a new problem where it takes a long time to boot those agents up. So Agent Harbor solves this with a sandbox that's local to the machine, that essentially boots up instantaneously and perfectly replicates the environment that the developer is used to and is working on, right? So all of your files and so on are there in the sandbox immediately. No need to run complex scripts to get it up and running. That solves one problem. That actually solves two problems. So one of the problems that it solves is taking a long time to boot up the agents, and the other problem is security around the hard drive because now it's in a sandbox form. And other features kind of that Agent Harbor is providing to make this kind of YOLO mode experience easier is taking a lot of snapshots at the file system level of the changes the agents make and providing the ability to just roll back to any of those snapshots at any time. So when agents mess up, they go off the rails, and kind of just bringing them back in their inference trace and rewind the file system state to whatever point you need and reprompt. And finally, when you're in YOLO mode, you kind of want to have the task running for a long time. You want to give complex tasks to the agents that they can work on for a long time. What tends to happen though is that agents hit some kind of a snag. They make a call that never comes back. Maybe launching a web server and there's no response, and they just hang, or they kind of completely give up on the task or start hallucinating. Many things can happen, and Agent Harbor essentially provides what we call anti-halting mechanisms to enable agents to continue working on long horizon tasks that take a very long time, many step tasks. So essentially, have supervisor agents that ensure the agents working on the task stay on track and can kind of continue the task for longer. So all of this essentially means that Agent Harbor is a platform for enabling developers to vibe code long horizon tasks effectively. We think we have a very unique kind of angle in this space. I haven't seen any competitors try and tackle the problem at the operating system primitives level like we have. And yeah, that's why we're very excited about just releasing this product into the wild and seeing the reception it gets, because we can kind of see with our own eyes how much better it is for the jobs that we need doing than anything else that's out there. In terms of how to follow, how to get in touch, the X channel just went live. So that's Agent_Harbor. Is the handle. We'll be sharing the details with the website link and the link to join the early access testers program right after the call. Website may follow a little bit later, but yeah, we'll give all the details on how you can kind of follow and track Agent Harbor right after the call. But feel free to already follow us on X. That one's at Agent_Harbor.
Thanks, Magnus. So next question. So now what I'll do is we'll be going through the questions that Stella collected from the chat. Thanks, Stella. So this is an important one. What happens to roles, yaps, and experience? What happens to the community, our roles, etc.? Someone else also asked what's happening to the community and the roles. We had this question basically asked in 3 different versions. Magnus?
Excuse me, sorry, I was just coughing. So yeah, I talked about what's happened to the community and to the Discord. In terms of the roles, yeah, essentially those, we're going to have a new Discord community for Agent Harbor. It's a bit different type of Discord community, and there will probably be completely different roles there, and it may appeal to very different people. So that's kind of the roles stay here. They stay in this Discord, and of course, for people who have been promoted up the roles, like we really appreciate the work that you put in to get there, and the kind of support that you showed. And again, like if you're keen to follow us in this next adventure with Agent Harbor, then we'd love to kind of stay in touch and yeah, continue to get your support essentially. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I wanted to say on the roles.
So the other question again around community. So my question is mostly about community growth process. I feel like we need more events so we can push forward. Do you have any plans for that, Magnus?
Yeah, so events, I mean, we're heads down on product launch, so no events planned. We'll let you know if that changes, but really, like our priority number 0 is to launch the product. Priority number 1 will be to grow the product and make revenue. So we, yeah, for the time being, there's no events planned.
So are we moving to another server now?
I mean, there will be a new server for Agent Harbor. Like I said, that's not an open server right now. That'll be a server reserved for those who are participating in the early access program of testing the product and giving feedback and helping to shape the product. And I expect a much smaller percentage of people will kind of be interested in that and also eligible for it. So that program is specifically for people who are developers. So that's the new Discord, but it's not. It's going to be quite a different Discord from the Blocksense Discord.
Gotcha. So if anybody wants to join that, they basically alpha users of Agent Harbor would be able to be a part of that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll share the details after this with how you can apply to be an early access tester, and we'll process all the applications and start letting people in the coming weeks.
As someone said, oh, meaning the server will be dumped. So thinking that it's asking if the Blocksense server is basically going to be cut off. That's Blackclef.
No, the server is not closing. The server still will be open, but again, our focus is going to be 100% on Agent Harbor. So we're winding down the Oracle operations. Partners have been notified, and we'll be winding down community efforts on Blocksense.
Here's another one. How is the competition in this area? So I think this refers to Agent Harbor. Are there other products in development attempting to achieve the same goal? Do you anticipate such features to soon be adopted by major LLM providers out of the box? And is the value of Agent Harbor mainly in generality of the system, being able to operate with various LLMs and a GUI that works across a wide variety of environments? Let me know if you need to break this down. Just pull it up from the chat.
Actually, I would suggest taking a look at the already published documentation about Agent Harbor on the GitHub repository, which is under Blocksense Network / Agent Harbor, where we have explained relatively high detail the main benefits of using Agent Harbor and what our vision is. And if somebody is extremely technically inclined, what's unusual about this project is that something that Magnus said earlier, like this is we follow an extreme level of spec-driven development. So all the technical details, how we design and build Agent Harbor, are accessible in kind of technical design documents. And I think that will be kind of quite an interesting read for if there's some engineers out there in the audience.
Thanks, Harry. Someone said, so Temnik said this, I would like to receive a brief summary of the meeting so I can share it with the community. So Temnik, you will get this. So the call is going to be uploaded on the YouTube channel tomorrow, actually. Oh, see this. Thanks, Peter, for sharing the one pager for Agent Harbor in the specs folder. Thanks, Ladrianus, also for sharing this in the README so you guys can check out the chat for the documents on this so you get more familiar with Agent Harbor. Someone asked, oh, is the new Discord for developers? You don't need to be a developer to be vibe coding or if you have interest in this tool. So that's going to still be an option. Like I'm using Cursor myself and I'm not necessarily.
Yes, like you need to have
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were host. But you do need to have a GitHub. So you don't need to be a professional developer, but you should have kind of a GitHub be vibe coding kind of to build it access the tool, you would pretty much need those things.
Rocket asked the plan to shift focus to Agent Harbor and pause the Oracle building indefinitely. Does the roadmap for Blocksense still remain so?
So everything Blocksense, like I said earlier, is sort of on hold indefinitely. That means roadmap that was laid out in the light paper is also on hold. Like Zahari and all of us have said here, it's not kind of closing the door on all of that, and it would be great to be able to deliver on that ambitious technical vision longer term. But in the meantime, yeah, the as
So Satrogen asks, who's going to be a better tester? Any requirements? So you mentioned the GitHub repo. Are there any other formalized requirements for an Agent Harbor user or early adopter?
No, not really. I mean, just be someone who uses the tools, the products. If you are kind of someone who already does that in their day to day, then you'll probably be a great tester.
One thing that I'd like to mention is that just like Blocksense is a fully open source project, the core of Agent Harbor, which is already public, is open source as well. So anyone with a little bit of technical expertise is welcome to just try it, build it from source, take it for a spin, and share feedback. So just anyone who wants to get their hands dirty is welcome to give it a shot.
Thanks. A question from Satrogen. So everybody who's put an effort in the Discord server here and in the community, would there be some sort of recognition for them in the Discord server, in the new Discord server, if they join as an alpha adopter or user?
Yeah, I mean, so everyone who joins as a member of the early access program of Agent Harbor is going to essentially have a direct line to the team. Can have the opportunity to get the latest releases early, provide feedback, and actually help to shape the product directly based on their experience. Definitely be some exclusive swag in there as well. And yeah, that's essentially, but it's effectively like for people who really benefit from and use these tools, being in that community is going to be a good way to just be able to shape the roadmap and kind of help us build the best product for you.
Thank you. So I don't think we'll see many more questions that are covering other information, but I just want to, Stemnik, Rocket, I see your comments here. So I agree, indefinite period doesn't sound motivating for an Oracle. It's going to be bullshit to pretend like this isn't a fact. Rocket, also you, Abdullah Helm, Ladrianus, Void Watcher as well. Like I know there's a small but super active group of people that have been acting as pirates. And I think it's been also very cool to see just through the Blocksense community server what and how Rahil has organized a lot of work. It's really been more than a job. It's been a labor of love, really. So I agree with you guys that it's bummy. So I see Rocket saying, "Oh, it feels like that door's been closed." So one very important thing to understand here is to make a business happen, you need to adapt, right? And what you do is you form a hypothesis, you run against the wall and you try to go through. So, what's more important than pushing blindly in one direction is being aware of what's happening with the market, being aware of how what you're doing is clicking and being received and what the traction is. So, I do agree that it's bummy that there is this shift when as you're sitting as an outsider and you're hearing this. But realistically, Agent Harbor has a lot of potential to use the core capabilities of this team to take the company and the project to a better place. So I agree with both of you guys that it's, you can be excited about the future, but you need to kind of make space and acknowledge also what's kind of the impact on of a shift like this. And I think this is very unique to actually building companies in the crypto space because you don't have this in Web 2, right? In Web 2, it's a lot more of a closed system, really. Um, by the way, I'm seeing a bunch of questions. If anybody missed the beginning of this, also, we're going to post it and share with the community. There's also going to be a note shared with the Discord server as well. Yeah. If there are other questions, if you make space for what you're feeling, but when you take a step back, you realize this is a way, way bigger thing. I think going through this journey, you appreciate what's happening with the space in general and how do you actually build, how do you build a business in this space, regardless of whether you're the founding team, you're part of the team developing, or you're in the community, be it more involved or less so. So I just want to say thank you, guys. I appreciate you. And I just want to leave
Yeah, I want to
you to
jump on that.
do the same thing. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and like well said. Yeah, I know this is not the kind of result that some of you were hoping for, who've kind of been with us from the start, and we're really excited to see the Blocksense vision come through. And I can only say that this is the reality of being in a very high risk, very early stage startup environment, and where essentially you have to survive and you have to make sure that there's a company at the end of the day or at the end of the year. So we're doing our best to to make the right decisions for the company. But I know that that result's not always what everyone wanted in the community, and I feel that, and I feel that today through from your comments, and I understand it. So it's very like well within your right to sort of see it that way. But I just want to say thank you for all the work that you've done to support us with an uncertain reward at the end, whether there would be a reward at all. You really supported us. So yeah, thanks for me as well.
Dari, Gogo, do you have any final comments you want to share? I know we're over time here.
Yeah, I just want to say again, thank you to everyone here in the community and everyone on the team who has been with us for this long journey. I mean, it's difficult because you have all of us has put our heart and souls in something, and we all want to make it succeed. So I really feel the same as all the many of you in the comments here, and thank you for the support. And I hope you can all join us on what's coming next, and I hope it will be not as bittersweet, but actually much more hopeful. And hope to to continue the journey with each of you in the future.
Thank you, guys. With this, I think we can wrap it up. I appreciate you for jumping on and being here, and looking forward to seeing you guys on the CT. Take care.
You guys still hear me in the chat? Right. But yeah, I think like Martin was saying, thanks again, everyone. I hope you're excited as we are for the next chapter with Agent Harbor. I really do hope that some of you will kind of join us there. I understand if for some of you it's not the same adventure that the Blocksense was, and that's is not what you're looking for. That's completely fine. But just a quick note before we wrap up on the naming of Agent Harbor. It's related to the community, right? Blocksense is the pirates, and where the pirates come in is the harbor. So it's kind of a play on our great community, while also kind of reflecting the fact that it's the place where all the AI agents will come and be sent out to do their work. So yeah, hope to see you guys there, and thanks for the time today. Bye for now.